What's going on, guys, and welcome back to another video. We are starting to get all the information we wanted all this time about Phase 2 of Season of Discovery. Wowhead has started data mining all the new runes for each and every class. And in this video, we're going to be taking a look at the Warrior. Alright guys, so here are the warrior runes that we're getting. We're going to start off with, it looks like, our belt runes. We have Engraved Belt, Blood Surge. And what this does is Heroic Strike, Bloodthirst, and Whirlwind have a 30% chance to make your next slam within 15 seconds instant and cost no rage. That looks pretty good. Blood Surge was put in the game at a later point, and it was a very well-liked ability. I actually think it was a talent. I remember using Blood Surge a lot. It makes, using Slam not feel absolutely horrible. So that's a pretty good one. We have Engraved Belt, Focused Rage. Reduces the rage cost of your offensive abilities by 3. This is kind of cool, but I'm not really sure how rage starved you're going to be. I mean, even at level 25, once I got full Biss on my warrior, I am pretty much never rage starved. I actually have a problem dumping all of my rage at this point. So I'm not really sure if we're going to be using that one. And then we have Engraved Belt, Precise Timing. Slam is now instant, but has a 6-second cooldown. So obviously here, what most people are going to be using is going to be Blood Surge. I feel like that's going to be weaved into both different specs, to be completely honest, Arms or Fury. And it's going to be the go-to, in my opinion. I'm sure we'll find some use cases for the other two, but Blood Surge is pretty big there. And then we have the Boot runes. So we have Engraved Boots, Enraged Regeneration. Heals you for 30% of your maximum health over 10 seconds, but can only be used while Enraged, Berserker Rage, or Blood Rage is active. Usable while stunned. So we did get one thing. I was complaining for a while there, saying that like warriors needed something, to help them in PvP, right? I think warriors really are lacking some kind of self-sustain in PvP. As it stands right now and in vanilla, even with full Biss, warriors really have a hard time and really struggle with staying alive and 1v1ing in PvP. If you have a priest or a paladin following a warrior around, supporting them, or even a druid, it's a different story. But when it comes to one-on-one situations, warrior it just never could stack up to most of the other classes. So it's good to see them get a heal, some sort of self-sustaining ability here. We have Engraved Boots, Intervene. Run at high speed towards a party member, intercepting the next melee attack or ranged attack made against them, as well as reducing their total threat by 10%. We all know and love Intervene. I think that's great. It's a nice defensive charge type ability. We have Rallying Cry, Engraved Boots, Rallying Cry. Let loose a Rallying Cry, granting all party and raid members within 40 yards 15% increased maximum health for 10 seconds. So we got Rallying Cry. Everybody knows and loves Rallying Cry. And it looks like Commanding Shout was in here too. But that's going to be a Pant rune. So that's going to be Warrior Shouts, increasing stamina of all party members within 30 yards by 2. Maybe this is one that was like in and they kind of took it out because it's kind of thrown in the mix here with the boots and the bracer runes. So I think Rallying Cry is the actual one that's going to be in the game, and Commanding Shout might be in the game. I mean, it's a different rune slot, but it might, I don't know if it's going to be used if Rallying Cry is also an option. And now let's move on down to the bracer runes. So we have Engraved Bracers, Rampage. Warrior goes on a rampage, increasing attack power by 2%, and causing most successful melee attacks to increase attack power by an additional 2%. This effect will stack up to 5 times. Last 30 seconds. This ability can only be used after scoring a critical hit. I can tell you right now, before even reading the other two, that this one is going to be the go-to bracer rune for DPS warriors. That's for sure. That's a lot of attack power. That's actually crazy. That Rampage is pretty nutty. And then we have Engraved Bracers, Sword and Board. When your Devastate and Revenge abilities deal damage, they have a 30% chance of refreshing the cooldown of your Shield Slam ability and reducing its rage cost by 100%. That is really nice. Sword and Board feels really good. It makes tanking feel really good. I remember when they added Sword and Board, and I'm pretty sure it was almost identical to this, if not maybe a little bit different. But being able to spam Devastate and Revenge when it activates, and that reducing the cooldown of your Shield Slam and making you be able to just blast that with no rage cost it felt good tanking. It felt like you had a lot of buttons to press, so it was really good. So I think that's a nice tanking rune right there. And then we have Engrave Bracers Wrecking Crew. Engrave your bracers with Wrecking Crew. Your melee critical hits enrage you, increasing all physical damage caused by 10% for 12 seconds. This effect does not stack with Enrage. That's another nice one since it's on your bracers, but again, you're going to be competing with Rampage for that, so I think Rampage is going to just always pretty much outscale Wrecking Crew, but we'll have to wait and see. Maybe Wrecking Crew would be more PvP focused in my opinion, but I guess we'll have to wait and see. We have some Helm runes. Engrave Helm Shield Mastery. Increases all physical damage you deal by 10% while you have a shield equipped, and reduces the duration of all disarm effects against you by 50%. This effect does not stack with other disarm duration reducing effects. So what I'm getting out of this, right? Between Sword and Board and Shield Mastery, we basically have like a gladiator stance. Basically split into 2 runes. So like PvP warriors, if you take Sword and Board and Shield Mastery and what was it up here, Enraged Regeneration, and you PvP with a one-hander and a shield, you're doing increased damage by 10% from the Shield Mastery rune, reducing the amount that you can be disarmed, which is really nice. And I feel like it's going to be really cool because you're going to be able to be spamming Devastate on someone, Revenge, and then shield slamming with no rage cost. You're going to be super tanky because you have a shield on. So I feel like we're going to see some really cool warrior PvP builds coming, and obviously that's amazing for tanking as well. And then we have Engrave Helm Taste for Blood. Whenever your Rend ability causes damage, your Overpower ability will activate for 9 seconds or 1 attack. This effect will not occur more than once every 6 seconds. So basically using Rend is going to proc Overpower. You're not going to need to rely on dodges anymore for that. So for DPS, that looks like that's going to be the go-to rune. But let's take a look at the next one. We have Engrave Helm Vigilance. So we have focus your protective gaze on a party or raid member, reducing their damage taken by 3% and transferring 10% of the threat they cause to you. In addition, each time they are hit by an attack, your taunt cooldown is refreshed, lasts 30 minutes. Okay, so basically like a defensive taunt to reduce the threat and damage taken by one of your party or raid members. Another nice tanking one right there. So for DPS, you're obviously going to be using Taste for Blood here. You're going to be using Rampage. We're going to be using, I mean, the only boots ones that we got for DPS, none of them are really for DPS. So it looks like Rallying Cry would most likely be the rune you take for your boots in a DPS warrior setting. And then for your belt, obviously Blood Surge is going to be what you take there. Pretty cool. Definitely some stuff that's interesting. They're definitely going to be pretty strong. I would really have liked to see them kind of change up how the class is played a little bit. Like maybe give them Colossus, or, I'm not saying give them Titan's Grip, but something similar. Something that how Warlocks got Metamorphosis, right? It's such a massive change. These are all really cool things, but most of them are, abilities from other versions of WoW. There's nothing that's going to change what playing warrior really feels like, which is a little upsetting because it is my favorite class. But nonetheless, these are some pretty cool runes, and I'm happy with it. I want to know what you guys think, so drop some comments down below for sure. All right, guys, so lots of good stuff there. If you guys enjoyed this video, hit that like button. It really does help me out a lot. I'm going to be putting out a video for every single class for Phase 2, going over their new runes and any changes that these classes are getting. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, hit that subscribe button, turn on post notifications so you don't miss the next time I post a video. And if you want to hang out with me live, I do stream on Twitch at twitch.tv/hammerdance. I'll drop a link to that in the description below this video. And if you want to join an awesome community Discord full of like-minded people who all enjoy geeking out over classic WoW and Season of Discovery, we will welcome you with open arms. I'll drop a link to the Discord in the description as well. But anyways, guys, thank you all so much for watching and listening in. I'll see you all in the next one.